Christmas, Royally Quacked fans, and welcome back to episode 43 of Royally Quacked, where I'm Royal and he's Quacked. Hey, Cody, how's it going?
Royally Quackmas, everyone. Royally Quackmas.
Ooh, I like it. Royally Quackmas. Love it.
Yeah. Ho, 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 everyone.
I only had a brief cameo last week, but we're gonna catch up this week.
Yes.
Right, Cody? We're gonna
Yes,
catch
we
up
will.
with you this week, and then I know we could tell you later, but we'll tell you today. We're gonna have a royally quacked holiday next week.
Yes, we will.
So one reason why is hopefully we'll see some of you at the Ducks Flyers game at 1:00 at the Ponda. The pond.
Nope, the Ponda.
Yeah, so we hope to see some of you there. Please reach out to us in any kind of platform, any kind of email, Instagram, X, Twitter, Facebook. Let us know you're coming, and we'll get back to you exactly where we'll meet you, and what probably in between periods or before the game. So
I would say probably between right next to where Guy and Allie talk in between the periods.
Yeah,
I think right there would be a good place to meet.
Yeah, what a great place to have two bald guys right there. Yeah. I'd be more than happy to share the spotlight with Guy Bear.
All right, well, you ready to get into the team news?
We got a lot to do today, so let's run into it and do it.
Well, luckily there wasn't a lot of news for either team.
True.
I'll let you go first so you can knock yours out real quick.
It's going to take me less than a minute. Well, the only real Kings news right now is the recall of Andre Lee from Ontario. We do have Trevor Lewis down, and Kaliev is doing a conditioning loan to the Ontario Reign. So we needed a little bit of help and brought Andre the Giant back up. So Andre, new nickname for him, Andre the Giant.
Ooh, that's a good nickname. Well, is he a big guy too?
He is.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
He's a big tough winger, but he's also very skilled. So.
All right.
And that's Kings news. Let's go to Duck news.
Short and sweet. There's not a lot of Kings news either. Or Ducks news, I should say.
Ooh.
Trevor Zegras injury update. So on the broadcast, I believe it was Wednesday night during the Winnipeg Jets game, John Allers and Brian Hayward said that Trevor Zegras visited them up during the intermission on the broadcast, and he talked to him that the surgery went really well. His knee is feeling better than he expected, and he said he can probably be back sooner than the 6-week timeline. So, like I said, if he still gets back around the 6-week mark, I'm okay with that, because I was already expecting him to be back, next season. Because the way the injury happened and everything, it just did not look good. And usually when a player knows right away and calls for the trainer, it's not good. And he knows it's not good. So that's the quick injury update on Trevor Zegras. Next bit of news. It's not really news, but it's something I thought was kind of interesting. So on Jeff Merrick's new show, The Sheet, guys, go check it out. He has Brian Burke on every Friday. If most of you Ducks fans don't know, Brian Burke used to be the GM of the Ducks. I believe he was the GM when they won the Stanley Cup. Apparently, there was a trade that involved Keith Tkachuk coming to the Ducks. That's right. Keith Tkachuk was almost an Anaheim Duck. And he didn't really get into the specifics. All he said was that he had a trade in place with St. Louis to bring Keith Tkachuk to the Ducks, and in the trade was Bobby Ryan and he said he didn't say what was going where. Like all he said it was Bobby Ryan and draft picks. He didn't say if there's draft picks going to St. Louis or if there's draft picks coming to Anaheim. But I was just, and even he said, he's like, I think if we would have made this trade, we would have more than one ring. The only reason why this trade didn't happen is because I guess Henry Samueli vetoed the trade. And I guess that was one of the times that Henry Samueli, the owner of the Ducks, actually vetoed a trade, because it was like salary and cash thing. But if you guys want to go listen to Brian Burke himself, listen to the sheet with Jeff Merrick, and listen to the it was last Friday's episode. It was great. So I was just, if you think about it, like just having Keith Tkachuk as a Duck, that would have been crazy with the team that we already had at that time.
If you think about it, that's a hockey family, and his two sons are currently both stars.
Exactly.
For their respective teams. Obviously, Matthew Tkachuk's a Stanley Cup champion with the Florida Panthers, and then Brady Tkachuk is with the Ottawa Senators, right?
Yeah, Brady Tkachuk is an Ottawa Senator. Yep.
Yeah, and I got him on my team. I think he's having his best season.
Oh, I know he likes to play against the Ducks, because I think he had like 5 or 6 points in 2 games against the Ducks.
He's been doing that just about to everybody, Cody.
Yeah.
He's been playing really well this year. So, wow, yep. That's just a thing from the past there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we want to just jump into league news now?
Yep, league news.
You want to start? You want me to?
I'll start.
Okay.
The New York Rangers trade Capo Caco to the Seattle Kraken for defenseman Will Borgen and a 2024 third and 6th round pick. I don't know why it says Borden on our notes, but it's Borgen. It's a good thing I already knew that.
Got me on that one.
Yeah. So that was a trade I kind of wish the Ducks would have made, is getting Capo like that.
Yeah, because he was the second pick?
He was the 2nd overall pick in the Jack Hughes draft.
Right.
And here's the funny thing.
He was where the Kings, if they would have not had a lottery, would have been drafting there. He possibly could have been a
king.
A king instead of Alex Turcotte.
Like, if I remember right, like there was like a lot of talks that like Capo should have gone number 1. Because I guess he had that really good World Juniors and everything like that with Finland. I believe he's Finnish.
I think New Jersey did well.
Well, yeah, obviously. But the funny thing is, when New Jersey made the draft, when they picked up Jack Hughes, the New York Rangers fans were like cheering, and like they were like kind of like, yes, they picked the wrong guy. We get Capo. Great. Like they were like kind of making fun of New Jersey because they thought Capo was the better player, and then I guess after this trade, New Jersey kind of clapped back at the Rangers, saying like, like, did we really make the wrong choice?
Yeah.
I don't think Capo's a bad. I just think that the Rangers just didn't develop him and use him right, in my opinion.
He had a really pretty good year last year, and then
he didn't. I don't believe he did. No, that was Lafreniere that had a better year.
Oh, that's who I'm thinking of, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, I stand corrected. You're right. I'm mixing those two guys up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never actually been able to meet his expectations.
Yeah. Which is a shame, but I think he'll have I think this move for Seattle's like a low risk, high reward kind of pick, like trade for them.
Okay.
And we'll move, and then you could do the next one.
Okay. Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins acquired defenseman Pierre Olivier Joseph.
Yep.
From the St. Louis Blues for future considerations. I'm guessing a bag of pucks.
Well, it's kind of a shame because they had both of the Joseph brothers in St. Louis, and they thought, like, and just to get traded just like a week before Christmas. And then they were supposed to play in the outdoor game too together. And now, and it's funny because I think a week before this trade, the brothers did those like one of those like funny family pictures like you do at Macy's, like you just do the awkward poses, and they did it with the outdoor jerseys for St. Louis, all for Pierre Olivier to not be a blue when the game is played. But he's going back to somewhere where he's played before. He knows most of the team, so at least he's not going somewhere that he's never been before. So, and then the last bit of news, the Canadiens have acquired defenseman Alexander Carrier from the Predators in exchange for defenseman Justin Barron. I believe this was just pretty much a cap move from the Predators because I think they want to try and do something to shake things up.
Okay.
So,
and that's all the league news.
Yep. So before we jump into the Ducks and Kings games real quick, I want to ask, what was your opinion on the Cam Fowler? Your opinion on the Cam Fowler trade? Do you think it was a good or bad trade?
Well, I think with the direction that the Ducks are going, that it was a good trade because they were setting some guys that need playing time. And what better time than now when chances are they got a slim to none chance of making the playoffs. And let them grow. Let them grow now. And Fowler wasn't happy anyways. So honestly, it's probably a good trade for everyone involved.
Yeah. No, I agree 100% because like look how Lacombe's been playing, Zellweger's been playing, and you can't really be sitting these players. Hellison's he hasn't played since they got Trouba, and I'm honestly like I still don't understand the Trouba trade. I mean, if they would have just traded Cam Fowler away, and then I think they would be better right now. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I think I forgot which podcast I was listening to. They were saying like maybe they brought in Trouba to kind of help Gudis in a way too, like because Trouba was a captain of a team. Maybe he comes in, helps, mentor.
They were the President's Trophy winners last year, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he was the captain. And maybe he can like mentor Gudis to, being a captain. He can help Hellison, or maybe he can help the younger kids, develop better. Maybe that's why they brought him in. I don't know. But I still don't think that trade was what the Ducks needed. But I do want to wish Cam Fowler, all the best of luck in St. Louis. He played that same night, too. He got traded. He took a flight from Columbus to Dallas to play with St. Louis and that day. So I wish Cam the best of luck in St. Louis. I believe Cam Fowler's return to Anaheim is, I think, March 17th. I might try to go to that game.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, we'll see what happens. But if it's during a day like I'm off or something, I'll try to go to that. But like I said, I wish Cam the best of luck. I mean, he was, the top in almost every defensive category for the Ducks. He was the longest serving Ducks player, on this roster. Now it's John Gibson. Now there's only one player left from the 2017 Western Conference final team in 2017. So, I just want to wish, Cam the best of luck, and, thank you for, was it 13, 14 years of service for the Ducks. And like I said, he did sign my jersey last year. He signed my wife's jersey. I've heard nothing but good things about him. So thank you, Cam Fowler. I wish you the best of luck in St. Louis.
Boy, there's a turnabout after wanting to trade him forever.
Well, okay, it's not like I didn't like him. I just thought it was time to move on from him.
Well, good point made on that aspect, though. I
Yeah.
mean, that can make sense because there is a time.
Yeah.
There's far too many times our teams and we as fans hold on to a player a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
And what's best for them and us is to move on. And that's hard sometimes to do, especially when we all expect loyalty,
Yeah.
so.
But I feel like it was a mutual thing between the Ducks and Fowler. So I mean,
And I think
he had to waive his no, because he has a 4-team trade list, so he can only technically get traded to 4 teams, and he waived his no trade to St. Louis.
yeah. Well, like I said, I think it's going to be a better move for him. St. Louis is a much better team than the Ducks are right now.
Yeah.
For one, and two, the Ducks need to grow.
Yeah.
We got little ducklings, and they need to start playing so they can become full, mature ducks. I mean,
Agreed.
That's from a hockey fan, not a Kings fan, but a hockey fan. I'm a big hockey fan first. So, okay, we gonna pop into games now.
Yep, we can go into games now.
I think it might be better we just,
1-1.
1-1. That way we're, I'm not talking for 20 minutes and you're making a comment here and there. You want me to go first with my first game?
Yep, you can go first because I think your game happened first, anyways.
Well, I don't necessarily see the dates on here, or I do. I see my dates, but I don't have yours up. Let me just.
Well, you can do your Kings versus Minnesota game first.
Okay, and I did talk about this little bit at the start. There was a lot of controversy on my prediction that the Kings would win this game, and I made my gesture at him because he said you're nuts, and I go, well, if you looked at like I said, I'm going to repeat again. You looked at the time when they were in Minnesota, they shut down the top scoring line, which is incredibly productive line of Kaprizov, Rossi, and Boldy. And the Kings shut them down, and they were all minus, and the Kings won that game, I think 5-1. Well, they came to Los Angeles, and I predicted. I don't remember what I predicted for the score, to be honest with you. Let me look and see if I predicted a 5-4 win. I was closer with the Kings score than the Wild score, but the Kings came out crazy and just walked all over Minnesota. I mean, I'll give you the final 4-1. They outshot them 34 shots to 23 shots. They won the faceoff 56% to 44%. The Kings were 1 for 2 on the power play for 50%, and the Wild were 0 for 2. They each had 9 penalty minutes. The hits were pretty even at Minnesota 20, the Kings 19. Block shots 22 for Minnesota, 17 for the Kings. Giveaways, I think, was a big one. They had 17 giveaways. We only had 10. And then the takeaways were 5, the Wild, 3 for the Kings. So let's go to the scoring. Adrian Kempe started off the scoring in the first period. Of course, assist from future Hall of Famer and Kings captain, Anze Kopitar, with his 23rd assist, and Mikey Anderson his 5th, on a deflection at the 1917 mark. That made it 1-0 Kings. Then in the second period, on the power play, Alex Laferriere scores his 12th from Jordan Spence, his 5th, and Kevin Fiala, his 8th, on a snapshot at the 8:33 mark, making it 2-0 Kings. So after 2 periods, we got 2. Kings 2, Wild 0. Then we go to the third period. And on the penalty kill, Trevor Moore gets an empty netter. Oh, I take it back. It wasn't on a penalty. They pulled they pulled obviously their goalie, and at the 18:06 mark in the third period, Trevor Moore scored an empty netter to make it 3-0 on a wrist shot. But because were skating 6-on-5, Yakov Trenin scores his second from Merrill, his second, and Gogosian his third at the 18:47 mark on a wrist shot, just 41 seconds later after Moore scored. And then, not to be outdone, Trevor goes, I'm going to get 2 empty netters in the third period. And he got that one unassisted for a final score of Kings 4 and the Wild 1. The 3 stars of the game, Anze Kopitar with 1 assist was the third star. Alex Laferriere with a goal was the second star. And Darcy Kemper, number 1 star. I mean, I don't know. His goal, he did give up a goal, 1.00 and a 957 save percentage. So that was incredible. And that was the Kings at Minnesota game. On to your first game, Cody.
All right, our first game. It started off a little rough. We gave up a power play goal to Patrick Laine. I believe this was like his third or fourth game back. This is the game. This is actually Jacob Truba's first game as an Anaheim Duck. The Ducks did lose this game 3-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, we gave up a power play. Patrick Laine, wide open. I mean, guy can shoot. That's all I could say. And then Troy Terry came back in this one to get his 7th of the year with assists from Fowler and Harkins to tie it up 1 apiece going into the second period. And then Troy Terry again with his 2nd goal of the game, 8th of the season. Assist from Killorn and Vetrano gets the power play goal to take a 2-1 lead. And then what the Ducks have done pretty much all year is they just know how to give up leads pretty quickly. I believe this, like 11 seconds later, this is I think the one goal I think Dostal wants back. There was just a big misunderstanding behind the net, and I forgot exactly. I can't remember exactly what happened, but Dostal kind of just gave it up, and a Canadian guy got the puck, passed it right to Kirby Dach, and couldn't have scored an easier goal than that. So that tied the game up at 2 apiece, and we stayed at 2 apiece till the end of the regulation, and then we even stayed 2 apiece till the end of overtime. So we go into a shootout. Montreal decides to shoot first. Laine scores the goal on the first shootout. Mason McTavish goes and he misses. Cole Caulfield goes second for Montreal. He scores. And Troy Terry, he needs to score to keep the shootout going, and he gets denied. Montreal wins this one in a shootout, 3-2. Overall, the Ducks should have won this game. We outshot them 29-21. I believe this was, I hate to say it, but this was I think our best face-off game of the year to this point. I don't know if I haven't checked the other 5 games that I'm going to be going over, but the face-offs were 50-50 in this game. I believe that's the highest the Ducks have been all season up to this point. Power plays, we were 1 for 3 on the power play, 30 hits to 21. Montreal had 17 blocked shots. We had 11, 12 giveaways for us, 15 for Montreal, and 6 takeaways. All I can tell you is this is now Troy Terry's team. 1, stop giving away leads and games. Troy Terry needs help. He was literally, I would say, he was the main reason why the Ducks had goals in this game. And Troy Terry's been on a tear lately too. But Troy Terry needs help. That's why I didn't understand the Trouba trade or anything, because we need more help on offense than we did on defense. So, and that's why I wish we would have gotten at least someone to help Terry, or add more, have other lines bring offense. It can't just be the Vetrano Strome Terry line every game. But And another thing, another overtime game, another overtime where Cutter Gauthier doesn't see one shift in overtime. And we played a full 5 minutes. Why isn't he playing? The overtime is usually a very fast, you got to be fast, you got to be quick in overtime. And yet I think he's one of the faster players, and yet he's not playing. Why? So yeah, the Ducks, this was the first game of the road trip. Ducks lost this one in overtime, or I should say in shootout to the Montreal Canadiens. Next game, the Ducks go to Ottawa.
So you're going to do 2 games in a row?
Oh, my bad. I'll let you go. I forgot.
I thought we were going back and forth.
I was just
I think I have one extra game, so I going first makes sense, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I got caught up.
It's okay, son. I love your passion for hockey. I do. I go, and I just want to let everybody know, you don't know what a pleasure it is to be able to have and do a podcast with my son. It is incredible. A thing I just can't tell you how much it means to me. Because to be honest with you, when he came up with the idea for the podcast, it was kind of my idea for me to step in because he didn't really know anybody else that probably could regularly do it. And he even bought me the microphone I use for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, I was scared to death to get on the podcast because I'd never done anything like this before. And I was very intimidated. Most people who know me, when I'm comfortable, I'm confident. Sometimes even worse, I'm cocky. I mean, just to be honest, I'm self-assessment there. But I can tell you, man, I was like that little puppy dog that didn't know what to do when we did the first podcast. I feel so much more comfortable now. And what I got to tell you is what a blessing it is to be able to share that with my son. So on that's just a little side note in between games here. So let's go to December 12th or 10th. December 10th, we're that far behind. And the Kings played the New York Islanders. And this is another away game for the Kings. This has been a long road trip for them, or is going to be a long road trip for them. Let's go over the stats real quick before I get to the score. Kings outshot the Islanders 30-20. The face-off were basically 53-47. Both teams were 0 for on the power play. Kings 0 for 1. Islanders were 0 for 3. There was only 8 penalty minutes in the game, but the Kings had 6 of those. So hits, 14 for the Kings, Islanders 16. Block shots, Kings had 12, Islanders 9. And on giveaways, the Kings 17 and the Islanders 11. Well, let's go to the scoring. And just like I want to say, one of 2 guys usually scores the first goal, but Juice is usually the first guy to score a goal in most cases for the Kings. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, that's Adrian Kempe. On an assist, once again, from Anze Kopitar, his 24th, and Trevor Moore, his 12th. So at the 13:51 mark on a wrist shot, Adrian Kempe puts the Kings up 1-0. And that's how the first period ended, with the Kings up 1-0. So we go to the second period. And someone that the Kings really need to get hot, not just him, but a handful of guys, is Kevin Fiala. And Kevin Fiala scored his 10th from everybody. Everybody kind of laughed at this free agent pickup, but Joel Edmondson, I think, has played above expectations with his 5th assist. Alex Turcotte, who seems to be coming into his own as an NHL player, had his 7th assist on a wrist shot at the 3:09 mark of the second period to put the Kings up 2-1. Not to be outdone, Anders Lee gets his 13th from ex-Duck Kyle Palmieri, his 12th assist, and Brock Nelson, his 8th assist at the 9:47 mark on another wrist shot. So that made the score Kings 2, Islanders won, and that's how the second period ended. And now I can't believe this, but Mikey empty net scorer Anderson got another empty netter. This one wasn't the bank shot, though, but he got an empty netter for his fourth on an assist from Juice. Adrian Kempe is 14th on a wrist shot at the 1946 mark. So that's how the scoring ended, with the Kings winning 3-1. Let me get to the 3 stars of the game here. Sorry, with the Santa hat I'm wearing, the headphones slipped off a little bit. The number 3 star was Anders Lee with a goal from the Islanders. The second star, Adrian Kempe with a goal and assist. In my book, Adrian Kempe should have been the number 1 star. But I guess Kevin Fiala got the game-winning goal, so he was the number 1 star. But I would have switched those two, just me personally. So now the Kings win their, I think that was their first game on the road. Yeah, because they played Minnesota at home. So that's the second game of their road trip. So, Cody, on to your next game.
Well, I mean, I forgot to mention the 3 stars of the game in the Montreal game. I'll do that real quick. Troy Terry was the third star of the game. He had 2 goals for 2 points. Sam Montembeault was the number 2 star. He was great this game. I will give it up to him. And then Patrick Laine was the number 1 with 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points. And so on to the game this is the game I don't want to talk about. So this one might be shorter than all the other ones. The Ducks, this is probably one of their worst games played all season, I would say. I wanted to stop watching pretty much after the first period. The Ducks lost this one 5-1 against the Ottawa Senators. They just, I'm surprised the shot total was even this close, to be honest. Noah Gregor got this scoring started for the Senators to make it 1-0. Drake Batherson scored his 10th of the year on a power play to make it 2-0. And then Drake Batherson again on the power play makes it 3-0. And in the second period, Drake Batherson gets his 3rd goal of the game, his hat trick, unassisted. So it's 4-0 after 2 periods. And this is a game I feel like Cam Fowler would have probably went back to. 2 of those Drake Batherson goals were off of Cam Fowler. So Cam Fowler technically had 2 goals just in the wrong net. Pretty much. So Brady Tkachuk scored his 14th of the year on the 14th goal of the year. It was a power play goal, which made it 5-0. And then Cutter Gauthier gets his 4th of the year, assist from Mason McTavish to make it 5-1. So at least we didn't get shut out. That was the lone bright spot of this game. The Ducks got outshot 32-34, got crushed in the faceoffs. What a shock. 65-35. 3 power play goals given up. 3. The Ducks went 0 for 5, and you allow 3 out of 5 for Ottawa. That's where we gotta fix things. 25 penalty minutes for the Ducks. You heard that right, 25 minutes. 37 hits for the Ducks, 23 for Ottawa, 15 block shots for Anaheim, 14 giveaways, and only 3 takeaways. So the 3 stars of the game, Tim Stützle, 2 assists for 2 points. Linus Ullmark was the number 2 star, and Drake Batherson with probably the luckiest hat trick that I've ever seen in my life. He had 3 goals and 1 assist for 4 points. Yeah, like I said, that's, I think, just a game that I didn't want to talk about really the most. This was just an ugly game in Ducks land. So, yeah. So the Ducks lost. So now they're 0 for 2 or 0-1-1 technically on the road trip. So, and now we'll go back to the Kings game.
Okay. So now we're going to go to New Jersey and play the Devils, guys. And if you remember correctly, I did predict the Kings to beat the Islanders. I predicted them to beat Minnesota. I predicted them to lose 4-3, I think, to the Devils. I just figured an away game, the Devils are one of the better teams in hockey right now.
Yeah.
This game, the Kings kind of really got outplayed. I mean, totally outplayed. They only had 14 shots. 1 in the first period, 8 in the second, 5 in the third. Nobody had double-digit shots on goal in this game at all. How many times do you ever hear that, Cody?
Not often.
So they got outshot 26-14.
Wow.
Now, one of the good things is early in the season, the Kings were losing the faceoffs, and they beat the Devils 56-44. Both teams were 0 for 1 on the power play. Hits, the Devils were 27-18. Block shots, the Kings won that one 20-16. Giveaways, unfortunately, the Kings won that one 20-15, and they even won the takeaways 7-4, but they just couldn't put the puck in the net. But the funny thing is, if we go to the scoring, there was nothing happening in the first period. Of course, the Kings only had 1 shot on goal. Most of the time you have 1 shot on goal, it usually scores a goal, though. So, but it didn't this time. But we did start off the scoring with Jordan Spence getting his second from Alex Laferriere, his 10th, and Philip Deneau, his 12th, at the 16:41 mark on a slap shot. So Kings up 1-0 in the second. Then Andre Palat scored his 5th from Jack Hughes, his 25th, and Jesper Pratt, his 26th, to tie it at the 18:56 mark. Yes, 18:56. 4 seconds left in the period. That's how the game got tied. And then we go to the third period, and Jack Hughes kind of took over this game, proving that he was the valid number 1 pick over Capo Caco. He scored his 12th from Palat, his 6th, and Dillon, his 7th, on a wrist shot at the 12:58 mark to make the score Devils 2, Kings 1. Then Brett Pesce scored his first shorthanded from Jack Hughes, his 26th assist on a wrist shot at 7:17, and that's the final in this game. New Jersey Devils 3, Kings 1. 3 stars of the game. Pesce was the 3rd star with a goal. Palat was the 2nd star with a goal and assist. And, of course, Jack Hughes was the number 1 star with a goal and 2 assists. And
That was the game. That was the game that ruined your guys' win streak, wasn't it?
it did. Yeah.
Was that a 6 game?
6 games, yes. Not a surprise, Cody.
It's a surprise to me. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't surprised about that just because they're good.
No, yeah, the Kings have been playing really well this year. So back to the Ducks game. This is the Ducks' second game of a back-to-back. So the Ducks go from Ottawa to Toronto. This was a much better played game by the Ducks than the Ottawa game. The Ducks lost this one 3-2 to Toronto, but I also remember Toronto's a much better team than Ottawa. And like I said, and the Ducks were, like I said, on the second game of a back-to-back. So Toronto gets the scoring started. Max Pacioretty scores his 3rd of the year to get the scoring started. William Nylander scores his second or first of the game, 18th of the season. Wow, he's having a year too. And that makes it 2-0 Toronto. And then Frank the Tank Petrano scores his 7th of the year on the power play to make it 2-1 Toronto. So that's the end of the first period. We go into the second period. Max Pacioretty scores his 4th goal of the year, 2nd of the game, to make it 3-1 Toronto. And then just a little bit of a minute later, Jackson Lacombe gets his 5th of the year, to make it 3-2. And then there was just no goals in the third, and that's our final 3-2. The only thing about this game was, like I said, the Ducks played great in the first 40 minutes. And the third period was, just not their best period. Which is a shame because, like, they were pretty much, I think we were even after 2 periods on shots with Toronto. We had 8 shots on goal, and Toronto had 9 in the first. We had 15 in the second, and then and Toronto only had 14. And then we only had 5 in the third, and Toronto had 10. So the final for shots on goal was 30-28 in favor of Toronto. Face-offs. The Ducks lost the face-offs again. I would say 58-42. Power play. At least the Ducks scored a goal on the power play, their only power play of the game. But Toronto was 0 for 2. We out-hit them. We had more block shots. Of course, more giveaways, but we also had more takeaways in this game. The 3 stars of the game, Jackson Lacombe was the number 2 star. He had a goal and an assist for 2 points. John Tavares had 2 assists for 2 points as a second star, and then Max Pacioretty had 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Like I said, all around a better game against Toronto than we did against Ottawa. It was just, Toronto just, they have probably one of the best offensives. They're one of the best offensive teams in the league. So, they got probably the best goal scorer in the league right now. So, that is it for the Toronto-Anaheim game.
Okay, so we're going to go to last Saturday when I had my cameo on the broadcast, and the Kings are in New York playing the Rangers. And even I was surprised at this game. I got to tell you, surprised at this game. But just to be honest with you guys, the Rangers they're just not. They haven't been playing well. The Kings came out like on fire and outshot them 17-8. But that was the last period that they outshot them. They got outshot 14-7 in the second and 10-8 in the third. So both teams ended up with 32 shots on goal. Now this game, even though the Kings won this going away, the face-offs were 63% to 37%. That's terrible. But, they have 2 of the best face-off guys, Sabanajad and then Trocheck. I'm sure they have a couple others too, but, they're pretty incredible. Tough to beat sometimes. And I think Anze didn't have a great face-off day, but other than that, the Kings played great. Both teams went 0 for 3 in the power play. Both had 11 minutes and penalty minutes. And here's a funny thing. The Rangers out-hit the Kings 39-14. But I think that all came after the first period, a lot of that. They outbeat them in the block shots 12-8. Giveaways, they did outgive the Kings 23-21, so a lot of giveaways in the game. And the takeaways were small, but the Rangers won that one 3-2. But to start off the scoring, Alex Turcotte scored his third from Adrian Kempe, his 15th, and Anze Kopitar his 25th on a snapshot at 17:05 mark of the first period, leading the Kings up to 1-0. Then ex-Oiler Warren Foegele gets his 8th on an assist from Quinton Byfield, his 9th, and Tanner Jeannot his 3rd on a wrist shot at the 15:06 mark to make it 2-0 Kings in the first period. And just a note here, assist by Quinton Byfield. Could this be the start of something? Another guy we need to get kickstarted? Let's hope so. Come on, Quinton, we need you. You're the key to us being elite.
Help me, Quinton Byfield. You're my only hope.
Yeah, sort of feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of like what Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Speaking of that, in the second period, Quinton Byfield gets his 4th from Foegele his 7th and Mikey Anderson his 6th on a wrist shot at the 2:46 mark to make it 3-0 Kings here in the second period. Then it's Adrian Kempe getting his 15th. Of course, from Anze Kopitar, his 26th assist, and Alex Turcotte his 8th assist on a wrist shot at the 40 mark. And that's now 4-0 Kings. And then another guy who needs to get kickstarted, Philip Deneau, scores his 3rd from Brant Clark, his 14th, and Akil Thomas his 2nd at the 5:04 mark on a snapshot. And it's now, after 2 periods, I take it back. There was some other team scored here just before the end of the third period. Philip Cheadle scored.
Heedle.
Cheadle?
Heedle.
The C silent?
Yes.
Okay. There's a really funny guy on I think you get to Facebook Reels, and he talks about all the silent letters. He's some guy from England. It's funny as hell. You have to watch it.
Oh, I think I know which guy you're talking about.
Like Howard. Why is the H silent and Howard? It's a hour and a half. Half. All right. So Heidel scores a 6 from Mancini his 4th. Heedle from Mancini his 4th. Panarin his 21st. Won't be the last time I butchered that name. At the 12:17 mark on a wrist shot, and now it's 5-1 after two periods. And there was no scoring in the third. So the Kings win this game 5-1. In some ways, that's a miracle from the stats, right? But sometimes the stats don't mean anything. So, and here's your 3 stars of the game. All of them had the same stats. 3rd star is Adrian Kempe. 2nd star is Warren Foegele. 3rd star is Alex Turcotte. I don't know why Byfield didn't get in there, because he had a goal and assist too. All 4 of those guys had a goal and assist. Now, for me, I would have given it to Byfield because he needs to be built up. We need him to start playing. So I would have had Byfield in there. I picked on him many times already this season because I've expected more from him. But hopefully he's getting kick-started and he's going to ignite us into the playoffs. But the final score on this game was 5-1. On to your next game, Cody.
All right. This one I may go on a little mini rant about the referees.
Should I call your mom?
Oh, it's funny because was this?
You're serious now, huh?
It's funny because I think I took a nap or something before the game or something like that, and I didn't start watching the game as soon as it started. And then Mom texted me. She's like, "Oh, I feel a rant coming on." I'm like, I just started watching. She was like, I want to say about 7 to 10 minutes ahead of me. So then she texted me again. I was like, hey, like, I'm behind. Stop texting me updates right now. I'm behind. So,
I think your mom wants my job.
Yeah, probably. First period against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ducks, this is the last game of the road trip. And let's finish the road trip with a win. That's all I wanted this game. Mason McTavish gets the scoring started for the Ducks. He gets his third of the year with assists from Robbie Fabry. Yes, Robbie Fabry, he's back. And then Jackson Lacombe gets his fourth assist of the season. The one thing about this goal, at least the goal counted, but then they call goalie interference on Mason McTavish right after. The only thing about this is Mason McTavish got pushed into the goalie by a Columbus defender. And that's what ticked me off, because literally on that Mason McTavish penalty, boom, Kirill Marchenko scores his 11th of the year on the power play for Columbus, and they tied up 1-1. And then now that you give the refs pretty much give Columbus that penalty, then now Columbus has the momentum. Then they score another goal. About 40 seconds later, Cole Sillinger gets his fifth of the year to take a 2-1 lead. Yes, I am blaming the refs on that goal, for both those goals, to be honest. Because one, that should not have been a penalty, because Mason McTavish got pushed into the goalie. So that I still don't know how they call that. That I think that should be reviewable, in my honest opinion. So I was not happy about that. And honestly, and if you're going to call that on Mr. McTavish, they should call it on other teams, because not once, but twice this game, Adam Fantilli was poking at John Gibson in this game. And I know John Gibson had it after the second one. John Gibson was going after him.
What number is Fantilli? Do you know?
19.
I've got poking on number 19.
Yeah.
From
it was
Columbus Blue Jackets, right? Yeah.
But like I said, both times Gibson had the puck. I think the whistle blew one of the times, for sure. And he still goes and pokes at him. So after the first period, it's 2-1 Columbus. And then Alex Killorn gets his fifth of the year in the second period with assists from Ryan Strome and Troy Terry to tie it up 2 apiece. So now we go tied into the third period. And in the third period, James Van Riemsdyk does his typical goal, or actually it was a wrist shot. I forgot about that. But yeah, he scores his fourth of the year to take the lead 3-2 for Columbus. And then Jackson Lacombe again gets his sixth of the year assist from Troy Terry and Alex Killorn to tie it up to force overtime. So now we're in overtime, and Alex Killorn is our hero this game. Robbie Fabry finds him, and Killorn gets the OT winner, the walk-off goal, and Ducks finally win on the road trip. They end it strong. Yay. I'm happy about that. The Ducks did get outshot in this game, 42-27. But here's the good bright spot. 50-50 in the face-off percentage.
I had a question for you.
Huh?
This is the Blue Jacket game, right?
Yes.
You made no prediction on it.
I predict a 4-3 overtime win.
Well, we did this by text last Saturday.
I know. It's because I thought we were going to do the podcast, and I forgot about this game, because it was by the time I texted you. This game was already done.
A no prediction from you then.
Yeah, you can put 4-3 overtime win.
Well, it was a 4-3, but you did not predict it, so I can't give it to you.
Yeah, just put it as a no prediction for me. Yeah. The Ducks were 0-for-1 on the power play, and the refs gave Columbus the 1 power play out of the 2. The Ducks got out-hit this game 23-21. The Ducks did have more block shots, 23-16. More giveaways, but we also had more takeaways. So the Ducks win the season series over the Columbus Blue Jackets in this game. Kirill Marchenko is the number 3 star with 1 goal for 1 point. John Gibson was the number 2 star. He played really well this game. And then Alex Killorn. I know a lot of people have been hating on him this year. I thought he's looked a lot better this year than he did last year. He's been more consistent this year. I will admit that. So he had 2 goals, 1 assist, also the game winner. So he deserves to be the number 1 star of the game. Yep. But yeah, the referees really pissed me off that game. Oh, and then also Mason McTavish literally got pulled down. Like literally the guy held McTavish, brought him down. It was an easy interference call. Easy. Holding, interference, whatever, hooking. It was like all 3 in 1. And
whatever.
Literally, the guy, Mason McTavish, didn't even have the puck. He wasn't like in play to get hit, and the guy like literally wraps his arms around him, interferes, and like he was like hooking. It was like a 3-for-1. It should have been a 5-on-2 power play for the Ducks, just off of 1 play. Okay, I'm done with this game.
Is that your rant now? You done?
Yeah, that's my rant. I'm good.
So now we're in Pittsburgh playing the Crosbys. And shots on goal in this game, 31-31. But the Kings only won the 3rd period. That's it on the shots, but they ended up 31-31. The Kings, and Crosby's probably one of the best face-off guys in the NHL still at what was he, 38?
37, 38?
Yeah, he's still, with him and Kopitar. But the Kings won 54% to 46. Both teams were 0 for 3 on the power play. The Penguins did out-hit them 18 to 15. They also had 17 block shots to the Kings 14. They had 13 giveaways to the Kings 11 and 6 takeaways to the Kings 3. On to the scoring. Of course, who scores in the first period? Adrian Kempe. From who?
Anze Kopitar.
Yes, Anze Kopitar. His 27th and Gavrikov his 10th on a wrist shot 33 seconds into the game. Looking good for the Kings. Well, it did end up 1-0 after 1 period with the Kings, and then we go to the second period, and you got Evgeny Malkin scoring his 7th from Bunting his 8th and Rust his 9th. At the 6:22 mark on a backhanded shot. So now it's here in the second period, we are tied 1-1. Then Alex Turcotte gets his 4th from Gavrikov, his 11th, and Spence his 6th. Put the Kings up 2-1 at the 11:38 mark on a wrist shot. But in the third period, Matt, oh my gosh.
Grzelcyk.
Oh,
I'm not even looking at it, but
that's who it is, Matt.
Is it GR name?
Grzlcy.
Yeah, Grzelcyk.
Yeah. It looks like Grzelcyk.
Yeah, Grzelcyk. You're welcome.
Grzelcyk. From Crosby his 23rd and Raquel his 10th ex-Duck. Ricard Raquel. Tied the game up 2-2 at the 14:25 mark on a wrist shot. Then it goes into overtime. And the King Killer from the Ducks, Ricard Raquel, scores his 14th from Erik Karlsson his 18th and Bunting his 9th. Just a minute 44 into the overtime on a tip-in to win the game 3-2. But the Kings did get a point. Pittsburgh does play tough at home. What's the 3 stars of the game? Alex Turcotte is the 3rd star with a goal. Grzelcyk is the 2nd star with a goal. And Ricard Raquel, and the ex-Duck, is the number 1 star with a goal and an assist. Now on to your next game, Cody.
All right. Probably the best 2 periods I've ever seen the Ducks play in a long time. The Ducks host the Winnipeg Jets. That's right. You know, the team that had the best start in NHL history this year, they went 15-1. So in this game, Troy Terry lifts the Ducks again. The Ducks win this one 3-2 over the Winnipeg Jets Frank the Tank Vetrano gets his 8th of the year with assists from Radko Gudas and Ryan Strome. Nice little tip in by Frank the Tank. And then, if I had to ever put money on a player that's going to score against the Ducks, this is probably one of the top guys I would put money on for sure. Gabriel Velarde. He loves to score against the Ducks. Loves it. So, and of course, he scores. He gets his 14th of the year on the power play to tie it up, 1 apiece. And and that was all in the second period. So the Ducks in 2 periods only held the Winnipeg Jets to 8 shots on goal after 2 periods, 4 in each period. Well, the Ducks had 22. But then, the Ducks tend to like to give away leads and everything like that. Let teams come back. In the third period, Mark Scheifele takes a 2-1 lead for the Winnipeg Jets, his 18th of the year. But we still got Frank the Tank on this team. He scores his 2nd of the game, 9th of the season, assist from Jackson Lacombe, and Radko Gudas has 2 assists. What? Yep. So now we're tied 2 apiece in the third period. It's going back and forth, and Troy Terry scores with 26 seconds left to force the win for the Anaheim Ducks. The comeback kids of Anaheim are coming back. Troy Terry is leading this team he's leading this team out of the rebuild. This team is now Troy Terry's team. He scores Troy Terry's game winner, 9th of the year, assist from Frank the Tank Vetrano. Frank was the reason Troy Terry got that goal. It was a great forecheck, forced a turnover, got it over to Terry. Terry just outweighted Eric Comrie and slid it right past him. Beautiful way to finish this game. Ducks win 3-2. Last minute, again, outshot the Winnipeg Jets 31-23. Another 50-50 face-off percentage. But here's the thing. 0 for 3 on the power play. 1 for 4 on the penalty kill. 27 hits to 12. 17 block shots for Anaheim, 21 for Winnipeg. 9 giveaways, but Winnipeg also had 12 giveaways. But Winnipeg also won the takeaways with 9-7. So Ducks take the first game of the year against the Winnipeg Jets 3-2. The number 3 star of the game, Troy Terry, with the game-winning goal, had 1 goal for 1 point as a 3rd star. Jackson Lacombe, he was everywhere. This kid's been, honestly, I was ready to trade Jackson Lacombe at the beginning of the year and everything. Even before the season started, and everything. I wasn't very high on Jackson Lacombe. But he's making me eat crow hard right now. Because honestly, he's been one of probably the top defenders for the Ducks this season. But yeah, he's the number 2 star. He had an assist for 1 point. And then Frank Vetrano had 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points to get the number 1 star. That's how the Ducks need to play every game. Those first 40 minutes is exactly how the Ducks need to play. They were forechecking, they were forcing turnovers, they were dominating the Winnipeg Jets. And that's something we need to see more often. So, there we go. So I'm happy about the Ducks, dominating the Winnipeg Jets game like that. That's what we needed. All right. Your last game?
Actually, I have 2.
Oh, you have 2 more?
Yeah.
All right.
So the next game, we're in the city of brotherly love to play the Flyers. And it was a very close game for a little while. Kings outshot the Flyers 27-26. Flyers won the faceoffs 53-47. There were no power plays. No, there. Oh, I'm sorry. The Kings were 0 for 1 on the power play. Flyers 0 for 2. Hits were 14-13 in favor of the Flyers. Block shots 18-17 in favor of the Flyers. Giveaways 9-7 in favor of the Flyers, and the takeaways were 4-3. Unlike all the other games, the first goal was not scored by Juice. It was scored by Kevin Fiala, his 11th from Philip Deneau at the 10:53 mark of the first period on a backhand shot to put the Kings up 1-0. Not to be outdone, Noah Cates scores his 4th from Brink, his 10th, and Forrester his 6th to tie the game 1-1 at the 14:11 mark on a backhanded shot. Forrester was the guy who basically was keeping the Flyers in this game. So after one period, it's 1-1. In the second period, just 1:31 into the second period, Tanner Jeannot scores his 4th from Fogle, his 8th, and Spence, his 7th, to make the score 2-1 on a wrist shot. Not to be outdone, I told you, Tyson Forrester got his 7th from Lawton, his 9th, at the 11:30 mark on a wrist shot. Just a little less than 4 minutes later, Tyson Forrester got his 8th from Frost, his 9th, and Tippett, his 8th, at the 15:04 mark on a snapshot to put Philadelphia up 3-2. And just before the second period ends, the captain, Anze Kopitar, gets his 9th on an assist from Laferriere, his 11th, and Gavrikov, his 12th, at the 19:16 mark on a backhanded shot. So then the game is now tied going into the third period, 3-3. In the third period, Warren Fogle gets his 9th from Jordan Spence, his 8th, and Jacob Moverare, his first assist only at the 1:54 mark on a tip-in. So the Kings are up 4-3. Then the captain gets his 2nd of the game and his 10th of the season from Turcotte, his 9th, and Gavrikov, his 13th, at the 10:39 mark on a wrist shot to make it 5-3 Kings. Then, with a goalie pulled with over 3 minutes left in the third period, Quentin Byfield gets one unassisted to make it 6-3 on a wrist shot. And that wasn't even the end of the scoring. Kevin Fiala got his 2nd from Laferriere, his 12th, and Clark his 15th on a wrist shot at the 17:34 mark for the final score for this game. Kings 7, Flyers 3. Now to the 3 stars of the game. Warren Fogle was the 3rd star with a goal and an assist. Tyson Forrester from the Flyers was the 2nd star with 2 goals and an assist. And the number 1 star was the captain, Anze Kopitar, with 2 goals. On to your next game, Cody.
All right. The game that happened Friday night. The Ducks hosted the Colorado Avalanche as the second game of the homestand. I believe this is the last game of the homestand. I believe now they are. And I'll go back to those games, the future games later. The Ducks, again, start off very strong in this game. Unfortunately, the Ducks did lose this one 4-2 to the Colorado Avalanche. But the Ducks did outshoot the Avalanche. Oh, and the Ducks won a face-off percentage in a game. It only took us, 30 games? 31? What game number was this? 31. It took us 31 games to finally win the face-off percentage in a game. The thing is, 0 for 5 on the power play. We cannot be going 0 for 5 in power plays. The Ducks did give up 1 goal on the penalty kill. They went 1 for 4. The Ducks out-hit the Avalanche 27-17. Avalanche had more block shots, 22-12. 9 giveaways for the Ducks. 4 giveaways or 4 takeaways for the Ducks. But yeah, Leo Carlson got the scoring started in the game, he getting his 7th of the year. Jacob Trouba getting his first point as a Duck, got the primary assist, along with Brock McGinn getting his 4th assist of the year to make it 1-0 Anaheim. And then 4 minutes later, Parker Kelly scores on the penalty kill. Yeah, so the Ducks have 5 power plays, and they lose in the special teams by far this game. They give up a shorthanded goal to Parker Kelly, so now it's 1-1. And then Valeri Nikushkin gets his 10th of the year to make it 2-1 Colorado. So now it's 2-1 Colorado going into the third period. Cale Makar scores again. Or not again, sorry. He scores to make it 3-1 Colorado. He gets his 10th of the year on the power play to make it 3-1 Colorado. Then Alex Killorn gets his 7th of the year. To make it 3-2 Anaheim. Or sorry, 3-2 Colorado. Pavel Minchikov gets his 4th of the year. And then the Ducks pull the goalie, and Nathan McKinnon scores an empty netter for his 14th of the year. And the Ducks lose this one 4-2. But like I said, the Ducks were played well this game. I know one goal, I believe it was the Nikushkin goal, I believe. It just squeezed right in between Gibson's body and his arm, and it just trickled down, and yeah, it just sadly just Nikushkin, or I believe Nikushkin was just right there, tapped it home, and yeah, that one Gibson has to have back. But like I said, all around, like I feel like the Ducks played a lot better than the game they played in Colorado the first time, where Dostal pretty much stood on his head that game and made like 80 saves in 2 periods almost. For the 3 stars of the game, Nathan McKinnon was the 3rd star. He had 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points. Leo Carlson was the number 2 star, who had 1 goal for 1 point. And the guy that I felt like never even came off the ice, Cale Makar, had 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. So the Ducks end up losing this one 4-2 to the Colorado Avalanche. Like I said, better overall game. I mean, Colorado's one of the best teams in the league anyways, so can't really get too mad about the loss, because I mean, they did dominate the first period for sure. I mean, the Ducks held Colorado only 5 shots on goal in the first period, and they had 12. And then Colorado had 13 shots in the second to the Anaheim's 9. But the Anaheim did outshoot Colorado 11-5 in the third period. So it's not like the Ducks were just playing bad. I mean, the thing is, like, the Ducks just need to find a way to put it in the net. And so yeah, the Anaheim Ducks fall to the Colorado Wood. I'm gonna call them the Wood now, because they have 3 players with Wood in their last name now.
Okay.
So they have Miles Wood, and then their goalie duo Wedgwood and Blackwood.
Yeah.
So they are
what
now.
What would you do?
What would you do?
Okay, so
funny. You're funny. So that's the last game of this long games recap for us. For
no,
me,
it's not. I have.
I said for me.
Yeah, I got Nashville left.
Yeah.
So
all right, you can go ahead and talk about Smashville.
Yeah, was Smashville for the Kings. This game was hardly. It was a hard fought game. Shots were 26-24 in favor of Nashville. And they won the face-off 52-48. Both teams were 0 for on the power play. Kings 0 for 1. Nashville 0 for 2. The Predators out-hit them 24-12. Block shots were tied at 9. Giveaways were 13 Kings, 12 for the Predators. Takeaways were 2-1 for the Predators. The scoring went like this. Zachary Hero his 4th from Nyquist, and his 7th, and O'Reilly his 12th at the 14:60 mark of the first period on a wrist shot, making it 1-0 Nashville. And that's how the first period ended. 1-0. Then in the second period, Jonathan Marchessault gets his 10th from Josie his 17th and Forsberg his 16th at the 14-minute mark on a wrist shot, making it 2-0. But going into the third period, the Kings are down 2-0. Then in the third period, Kings get started off with Quinton Byfield getting his 6th from Foegele and Gavrikov. Foegele is 9th, Gavrikov is 14th at the 19:24 mark on a wrist shot. So now it's 2-1. And also in the third period, Alex Laferriere gets his 13th from Philip Deneau is 14th, and Edmondson is 6th to tie it 2-2 at the 13:23 mark on a wrist shot. Then just like Pittsburgh, just barely a minute into the overtime period, Blankenberg scores his first from Forsberg's 17th in overtime for Nashville to win the game 3-2. 3 stars of the game: Perreault with a goal, Marchessault with a goal is the second star, and the first star is Blankenberg with a goal. All 3 of them had a goal, but Blankenberg was the game winner in overtime. So that ends a long amount of catching us up with all the games for the Kings and the Ducks. And did you want to know where you ended up?
Bad.
Well, I ended up 5-2 over those 7 games. And you ended up 4-2.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
3-2.
Because I had one less game, yeah.
Well, one less game because you did not pick it.
Yeah.
So I am now.
Because by the time we talked about texting each other about it was already done.
Yeah, last week, unfortunately, was a fiasco. There was just scheduling issues. We did have a guest host supposed to take my spot. But
I messed up. I'm taking blame for it. I messed up.
I'm not blaming the guest host. I mean, things just got missed. It got messed up. So I mean, it's a busy time of the year.
Yeah.
But you are now 11-14, and I'm 18-10, and we have to predict basically the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, let's do. You want to do our player? Well, you want players of the week, or or do you want to do players of the last 2 weeks in a way?
Player of the last 2 weeks.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah, mine's an easy one.
Okay.
It's the captain, Anze Kopitar. I mean, he is what drives the team.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of guys just to mention, obviously Adrian Kempe. I mean, they make a great 1-2 punch. He had a great, and it was nice to see Quinton Byfield get going. And I'm hoping it continues later today at 2:00 when they play the Washington Capitals, which I will give you my prediction on that when we get to predictions. But that's my king of the week, and then I guess my jester of the week. You think about that.
Here, while you're thinking about it, I'll do my Ducks player of the week. I can easily go with someone I've used before, but I'm gonna change it up because he's been a real difference lately and everything like that. I mean, and even when he doesn't put up anything up on the score sheet, you notice him. And I'm gonna go with my player of the last week or two, however, whatever we're doing is I'm gonna go with Jackson Lacombe as my player of the week.
Okay.
He's looked great. He's getting involved. He's playing well on defense. So he's gonna be my my player of the week for the Ducks.
So, do you have a lame duck or whatever you want to call him?
My lame duck. That's a good question.
Yeah, see, it's a tough, isn't it?
I mean, I can go with someone who's been pretty obviously, and honestly, in my honest opinion, I think he should be out of the lineup, and I'm gonna go with Radko Gudas. I do, if the Ducks are serious about wanting to compete, wanting to get better, and players taking responsibility for their bad play, that involves the captain as well. So I think, I think they should healthy scratch Gudas once, let Hellison play. If you're not going to play Hellison, send him back to the AHL. I'd rather see him at least playing,
Yeah.
So, and that's my honest opinion. So I'm going to go with Gudas as my... Actually, no. Actually, it's a tie between Ross Johnston and Radko. Because Ross Johnston he's been taking so many stupid penalties. Like ones that make no sense. Like there's a time and place to do these things, and he's just, the timing is just bad. So I'm gonna just say Ross Johnston and Radko Gudas.
Okay, I actually do have my gesture of the week.
Okay.
Tanner Jeannot.
Ooh, Jeannot.
Yeah, he's just... I haven't heard his name enough.
Makes sense.
He needs to be one of those guys. If he's not going to produce points, he's got to be doing the other things. And I haven't heard his name enough when I've been listening to the games. So,
yeah,
I mean, that was a harder pick this time because it's been pretty easy in weeks past. And then, boy, we get through this holiday season. Taking so much things away that it's going to be so much easier to focus on things. Because, man, I've been so crazy busy between work and home and everything else.
Yeah.
So
predictions?
We want to go down predictions. We want to go by date again, or we want to just do all the games?
You do all your games, and while you're done, I'm going to predict mine.
Yeah, because I didn't see anything for you.
So I'm doing it right now.
Today, I go, just because of how this week has gone, and they're playing in Washington, I have the Kings losing 3-2 to the Capitals. I pray I'm wrong. And I hope Tanner Jeannot lays out P.L. Dubois. If not him, I don't care. Mikey Anderson, somebody take him and put him down because he's hurt. He hurt this franchise. That whole thing hurt this franchise. Then next week when we're at Anaheim, the Kings are actually playing Edmonton at home, and I don't know. I'm starting to sound like you. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to have the Kings win that game 4-3.
Okay.
And then on the 29th, they play Philadelphia, who the Ducks play when we go to the game next week. I have the Kings beating Philadelphia 6-3. Then on New Year's Day, maybe we could get tickets and go see the New Jersey Devils. What did you think about that, Cody?
I am off that day.
So am I.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Throwing it
I'll
out.
think about it.
I just threw that out. That was not in the notes, by the way.
Yeah.
I have LA beating the Devils at home 4-3.
Okay.
And I'm really going out on the limb because 3 days later they'll play the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I have the Kings beating them 4-2. So I am predicting the Kings to go 4-1 in the next two weeks.
Well, you're definitely a lot more optimistic than I am with this next schedule.
Well, you got 7 games. I only had 5.
Yeah. So the Ducks play the Utah Hockey Club in about 25 minutes. I'm going to predict a 3-2 win for the Ducks. This is their first game at the Delta Center in Utah. So I think the Ducks will win this one 3-2. Then on Monday, the Ducks are on this, back to back. So tomorrow or today when you're listening to this. The Ducks will be in Vegas. This will be the last time the Ducks play Vegas this year. And I'm going to predict a Vegas sweep this year. So I have the Ducks losing 5-2. And then next Saturday, where Royally Quacked is going to be at the Honda Center for the Ducks versus Philly. I don't think I've ever seen Philly play live, so this will be fun. A nice game for us. Orange versus Orange in this game, but I have the Ducks winning this one 4-1. And then it's funny because the Kings play Edmonton on Saturday, and the Ducks play Philly on Saturday. And then the teams switch. Edmonton plays the Ducks, and then Edmonton plays the Kings the next day. Or the Philly plays the Kings the next day. So I have the Ducks losing on Sunday to the Edmonton Oilers 5-1. And then on Tuesday, the Ducks will host the New Jersey Devils, and I'm predicting a 4-2 loss. And then the Ducks go to Winnipeg on Thursday, and I'm predicting another 4-1 loss. Because the last time I predicted a 4-1 loss to Winnipeg, we end up beating them. So I'm just, we'll see, And then on Friday, the Anaheim are in Edmonton, and I'm predicting a 2-1 win against Edmonton. So, yeah, that's what I'm predicting.
You go over the Vegas. Who'd you have the Vegas winning?
I had Vegas winning 5-2.
And what about Philly?
Philly, I have a 4-1 win for Anaheim.
And then Edmonton and New Jersey.
5-1 loss. And then against New Jersey, a 4-2 loss.
So you have them going 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which isn't bad against all the teams that they're going to have to play.
Not at all. Not at all. I know we didn't probably plan on having a trivia question, but I would like to finish it off with a trivia question.
Okay.
And my trivia question is, could you tell me the top 5 power players in power play goals in NHL history?
Say it one more time.
The top 5 players in power play goals.
Gretzky?
No, Gretzky's way down the list. Let me tell you where he's at. He is 18th. I was shocked by that, by the way.
Ovechkin is probably going to have to be on there.
Ovechkin? Where do you think he is?
2.
He's number 1.
Number 1. Gordie Howe?
Not even close. He's way down the list. He's 16th. He's ahead of Gretzky.
I'm really bad at this.
Okay. I'm going to give you a hint.
Okay.
The first hint is he's one of the 4 Eric uses to help him with fantasy hockey.
Chelios or Hull?
Hull.
Hull, okay.
Number 3. Number 2, I'm not sure I could give it to you.
You'll give it away too quick?
Yeah, well, the next one I'm going to give you is so we can get this moving on.
Okay.
My 2 favorite players.
Robitaille and Solani?
It's actually Solani and Robitaille. Solani's 4th. Brett Hull's 3rd. Robitaille's 5th.
Okay.
Number 2 is Dave Anderchuk.
Yeah, I don't think I ever would have guessed that.
Yeah, well, he played 1,639 games. That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
He played for 6 different teams. In power play goals, Ovechkin 316, Anderchuk 274, Hull 265, Solani 255, Robitaille 247. Right below him, Phil Esposito 246. Then Brendan Shanahan and Mario Lemieux, Marcel Dion, Dino Ciccarelli. That's the top 10. So kind of interesting, huh? I would have thought Gretzky would have been up number one.
That's what I
But
would
I
have
bet you
thought
if I go
too.
power play assists,
Oh yeah.
so
All right, let me ask you. All right. Remember the new game that I brought in, the explaining movie plots badly?
yeah, because I'm very badly at explaining them.
Well, no, I'm gonna explain them badly, and you have to guess the movie.
I know I'm still bad at it.
I know. So I'm trying to do movies that you know.
Okay,
Okay. Here's one. Kids come out of the closet.
Monsters Inc.
That's a good guess, but no. That is a good guess.
Okay,
I see your thought on that.
yeah, well,
But remember, it's not. It's kids come out of the closet. It's based on a book.
it's about where's Adam? He was much better at this than I am.
Yeah. So it's the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, now you say it now, it makes it simple.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. A depressed, widowed father teams up with a mentally challenged woman to find his disabled son.
Oh my gosh! Say that again.
We'll do one more after this, and then we'll get out of here.
Mentally challenged woman. And a what now?
A depressed, widowed father teams up with a mentally challenged woman to find his disabled son.
I'm terrible. Give it to me.
Finding Nemo.
Okay. I'm not very
All
good
right,
at
and
this.
we'll do. All right, last one. A public transportation running ahead of schedule for once.
Speed?
Speed, yes.
1 for 3.
All right,
Woo-hoo.
we'll finish off on that. I kind of like this. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, if you guys are going to the game on next Saturday, the 28th against the Flyers, please let us know that you'll be there because the Spink family will be there. We'll do a meetup after the first intermission, at the first intermission, right behind Guy and Allie, right there.
Why don't we just make a plan and they can just show up?
Yeah,
I like
we'll
it.
be right there.
You'll
see my dad in a Solani jersey.
I will. Yeah, one of my favorite players. Him and Luke Robitaille, two favorite
Yeah.
players. I don't have a Robitaille jersey. I guess I'm gonna have to get one of these days. I got Kopitar.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right there too. But who doesn't love Teemu Solani? If anybody dislikes him, oh, shame on you.
Yeah, shame.
Shame.
You're no fan of Royally Quacked.
That's the facts. he's a good guy.
Yeah, and don't everyone, we are a part of the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, so please go give them a follow on all social medias as well. Again, we're at Royally Quacked on pretty much every social media. So now we are on TikTok. We have YouTube Reels now going too, or YouTube Shorts, I believe is what they're called. You know, we're on Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram. Just look us up at Royally Quacked. Give us a follow. We'll follow you back. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, please feel free to message us. And actually, now that I say that, I forgot we have comments from a listener. Garcia Gold 35 said, this was his comment, Cronin created a very toxic locker room in Anaheim and needs to go. Now, like I said, I agree, but I don't want to just let him go. Just, like I said, I know Cronin's not the right guy for this team, and I agree, but I don't want to let him go just and not have a game plan after this. I say this may be his last season.
Yeah, wait for the right guy if you can.
Yeah, wait. wait for the right coach in mind. Don't just let him go and then boom, now you have no plan at all. But no, I do agree. Cronin needs to go.
How about Newell Brown, Cody?
Oh, God. No. No. They already fired him as an assistant coach. I don't think they'll let him be a head coach. And then he also gave us another response saying, multiple players, current and retired, have come out with very negative stories about Cronin. So I didn't want to really talk about this because it's kind of negative, and I don't like to talk about negative stuff all that often. But Keith Yandel came out and said that Cronin pretty much berated him over the phone, and then came back on the Spin Chicklets podcast in the next week, and his mom corrected him, saying that it wasn't a phone call, that Cronin came to their house and berated him in person. And Cronin already came out and said that he never did such things. So now it's like a he said, she said kind of thing, or he said, whatever. So, like I said, I don't know who to believe at this point. I mean, yeah, why would Keith Yandel make up the story? But at the same time, why would Cronin yell at a 17-year-old kid? So if you guys want the full story, go listen to the Spittin' Chicklets podcast with Keith Yandel on there. And you can hear the story. And then also on other podcasts like Crash the Pond, they go over about it too. So it's really not news I really want to talk about anyways. I rather focus on what's really going on here.
Yeah, well, we do appreciate the comments.
Yes. And thank you again, Garcia Gold. I haven't talked to you in quite a while, so it's nice to hear from you.
Remember those days back in Lake Forest playing soccer and baseball?
And baseball. Yeah, so it was nice hearing from you, Cody. Yeah, another Cody. Yeah, so like I said, please don't please message us, leave comments, feedback, anything you got, or questions we'll answer on the podcast or talk about on the podcast. Any Kings fans, we are still looking to have a LA Kings special guest on. If you guys are up for it, message us on any social media or email us at royallyquacked@gmail, or my dad at, what was the email again?
Gary.royallyquacked@gmail.com.
There you go.
So it's directly to me.
Yep. On that, I feel like there's.
I would prefer to have them do it with me on the email.
Okay.
I will see that more because Cody has pretty much control of everything else. He looks at that. I don't always get to see it. I get like 500 emails every day at work. So It's like email. That's how I get most of my information. So the other things, I'm not always having a lot of time to look at them. So anyways.
Yep. And don't forget to go on SeatGeek and use the code Royally Quacked, all caps, to save $20 on your first order. And then if you need some energy, go to Dubby.com and use the code RQ10 to save 10% off your Dubby order. And trust me, I've been using it for work, and it's really been helping me out while we're in our busy time for the propane season.
Awesome.
So, on that, you have anything else to say?
Just want to wish all Royally Quacked fans a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yep.
And we look forward to coming back on live, well, not live, but I should say
live from
Menifee. It's Cody and Gary. No, but we'll be coming back right after the first of the year. With the podcast. We're just taking time off the holidays to enjoy our families.
Yeah,
it's been quite busy as it is. One reason for last week I wasn't here because I was supporting my wife, and like I said, we had a plan. It kind of didn't work, so we're gonna try to not have that happen again. So
agreed. But, so there will be no podcast next week. Like I said, we're only gonna take 1 week off and everything like that. But like I said, if something big does come up, maybe we'll do like a small emergency pod. Maybe like a 10-15 minute thing. Maybe talk about it.
Yeah.
Or I'll just make a little YouTube.
A big blockbuster trade between the Ducks and the Kings.
Yeah. It's weird. They trade Ross Johnson for Anze Kopitar? Oh, yes.
Yeah. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like I said, maybe or instead of a small podcast, I'll just do like a quick, TikTok or Instagram reel and just tell you guys the news real quick, and then we'll talk about it again on the next podcast.
An injured Trevor Lewis for Troy Terry. Straight up.
Yeah. But like I said, don't be afraid to come say hi to us at the Ducks game next Saturday. So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. Go Kings, go.
And have a happy Royally Quackmas.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you guys next year, actually.
Next year. Yep. Amen.
All right, let's go Ducks.
Go Kings, go.
A father and son, a bond so strong, talking hockey all day long. Royally Quacked, their podcast show, sharing stories, highs and lows. From the Kings to the Ducks they go, shouting go Kings go. Quack quack they cheer, a father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows in the years. The land is grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared, on Royally Quacked their stories aired. Face off in life, together they stand, shouting go Kings go. Quack quack they cheer, a father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows and the years. The land is grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared, on Royally Quacked their stories aired. Face off in life, together they stand, shouting go Ducks go, go Kings go. A father and son watching the show, through wins and losses